Okay. Looks like we are live. Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to Play It Painted Live. Hope you guys are having a good Saturday evening. I'm just gonna open up the larger chats right now, and then we're gonna get down to it. Look at this buff man. Buff man. Alright. And let's go ahead and turn on the larger watch page. Do it. I need a new paint rag. My paint rag is too messy right now. But we're gonna paint this guy. Let us go to live streaming. And let's go to Guildball Navigators. I will be the first viewer of my show. You'll see. You'll all see. Stream status bad. No, don't do it. Why? Why does it have to be that way? Okay. So, if you do follow me on Twitch, you did see at least the start of these last night. You can see I swapped the basing on them and did the yellow and a little bit there on the. You can see I swapped the basing. Oh, and why did the yellow? Jeeves, why did that have to be so loud? Anyway, yeah, I did the yellow on them, and now we are going to do. We're going to start filling in the rest of these. Okay, so right now everybody's just wearing that hot Malibu yellow. I'll find the way. He doesn't know. He doesn't know where he's going. And then you got little Moana here. This is both of the Fathom minis are great. I like this one, but I really like the resin one. And then her, I like and I don't like. Right, she's actually kind of weird. Like she's kind of leaning there. If you look level, she's kind of leaning back. Like I did it so like she's kind of dipping her toe in the water, like ah. But then here's what I don't like. I don't like her little nose ring. Like, okay, I get it. You're trying to do something cool there, right? But it just looks bad. Like right now, and right now it looks like she reminds me of like the Spice Miners from Dune. When the mining guild, when they show up to visit the Emperor. I don't know how the hell I'm recalling this, but that's what she reminds me of. And she's gonna like speak in some like raspy language to the Emperor, and and then it's gonna translate. Oh, you'll live out your life in a pain generator, like yeah. What's up, Scott? I think it was a little ambitious. Not really a fan of that. I mean, I've seen worse. I've seen people paint it black, and it looks even worse. Or I've seen people. The trick with it is, you need it to be a different color than the skin on the face, or it looks like a miscast. I've seen other people paint it to where like this, it almost like blends in with the top quadrant of her face there, and then you've got like a Phantom of the Opera type thing where she's like either it's a miscast or she's wearing some sort of mask. But if you have, then you have to look back at the art and you're like, oh shit, that's a nose ring. So I think kind of going with the gold here, it's not terrible. It's just annoying to me. Like I'm looking at her face, and I'm like, that's actually a pretty well sculpted face for a PVC plastic miniature. Like I just want to see a good clean face on a miniature. Like, like if you look at Moana here, she's got a good clean face on her. She's kind of upset looking. which I also really like too. But anyway, we'll get down to it. I don't know if you've seen. I have painted the resin minis, the limited minis, and so that was a while ago. Like that was over a month ago, and so now I'm trying to bring these. I finally got my hands on the plastic team, and I'm going to bring these into line, match them all up. Then we're going to do what I normally do. Is eventually I'm going to play a game with these, and then yeah, and then we'll then I'll probably sell them normal because I have too many teams. I have to I have to keep the I have to keep this down a little bit. I've been looking to sell more teams on eBay right now. My miners are on eBay because and some of you folks have messaged me for my miners and like you're interested and there actually was a pretty good offer that came in, but it came in too late, and so uh, no such thing as too many. Oh man. Well, I don't disagree with you. I don't I don't disagree with you, but yeah, man, it's so you know for me I think at one point I had all the teams at the same time, and that was kind of cool. But the reality of it, at least in my case, is I realized that hey, I really, for the most part, I really only want to play a couple of teams. What the hell did I do with that brush? I want to play a couple of teams well. And I think you can do that in Guild Ball. You can play. Hey, kitty. Hold on. Cat opened my door. Let me close this. Yeah, you came across problems? You go back upstairs. Go up there. There you go. Cat Beta's trying to sleep upstairs. Anyway, so you collect all your teams and everything, but you realize that for the most part, for me anyway, you only break out 2, maybe 3 teams. And so it's like you have all these teams lying around. And what I used to do was I would sell them to fellow locals, which was a really good idea because then you sell them to fellow locals, and then you're helping your own meta grow, right? You're helping people um, pick up new teams and play them, and then uh, and then you didn't really lose your team, right? It's just you get to visit your old models. War Machine factions, maybe. You need to find someone who could trade War Machine models to trade it. Yeah. But War Machine's a different beast, mainly because the model count is so high. It's like it's like 40k armies back in the day. I had 12 40k armies back in the day, and I made a similar mistake too. It was like I just collected armies, and I'd paint through them. I'd paint through an entire army, and this is what maybe even more disheartening was it painting through an entire army and then really not playing it right. At only 40k, you really only play one army all the time. You might break out a secondary army once in a while, but if you're playing like organized play, if you're playing like campaigns, you're playing that kind of stuff, you're playing one army. A Guild Ball, you play, like I said, you can play multiple teams in Guild Ball, and I know plenty of people in our meta, at least, that play several teams very well. I'm just not one of them. I have to play. I got to play my couple of weird teams, and that's it. Miners, I had a lot of fun with. A lot of fun with miners. I gotta be honest with you. Now the match reports I have up on YouTube are match reports just like me and Andrew screwing around with the teams and really I lost to Andrew legit on his Brewers team because we haven't played in a while. Andrew's just a very good player. Um, and still learning the minors. That said, I have I was thrashing people with minors locally, like soundly beating people that, in my opinion, are better players than me because of I like to say that the minors play the game in 3 dimensions while everybody else is playing it in two, uh, and it's super fun. Um, but I think I'm not at this point. I'm not 100% comfortable playing those on a regular basis. They just seem really strong, and I guess it's weird for me to say that, but I'm slightly put off by it, but also I have to admit it is stupid fun to do the kind of stuff that they do. Uh, and I wanted to paint another set anyway, so I'm like, well, let me sell the set that I already have, which is cool. So I've got the current set up on eBay. They're a great looking team. Let's see. I need to fund my Kingdom Con activities anyway, so this isn't the worst idea to just go ahead and sell the current team and paint a new team. It's also not a new thing that I used to do that quite a bit. I think if you had taken Mule instead of Colossus, yeah, it's well, I don't know. I think ideally I like having Mule and Colossus. I think I think the drop is Salvo. I think Salvo is a great. He's a he is an excellent player, one of the better squaddies in the game, if you ask me. But there's so much overlap in minors that you don't necessarily need Salvo. I love Colossus in there because Colossus just really turns up Mule. With singled out, he turns up Mule, he turns up Shaft. Um, that team is just crazy, man. That team is good. There's no doubt. Anyways, we're gonna focus in more on this dude right now. Yeah, it makes a 2-2 game really strong, legit. Um, and the cool thing about playing minors is Colossus never really made my regular NG's teams. I play NG's a little more towards the 3-0 game, and it's weird because the minors should, at least in theory, be a little more 3-0 than the NGs are. But I'm playing the minors more like a 2-2 team, like more like a true 2-2 team, with majority of takeouts. With Mule landing the majority of those, Mule, Colossus, and then Shaft. Um, and then the other night, I played a game where I fielded. I think I fielded. I played a game where I fielded both minors. Well, you saw the team on YouTube, but I fielded it with, yeah, you saw that exact team. Fuse Spade, Salvo. I had like the crazy 3-0 team, and I played Mark this week, and he's like, I warned him. I'm like, minors are pretty nuts, man. You gotta. I almost kind of apologized to him at first, and the first turn of that game, um, my first activation. I kicked with Mule. First activation in the game. Mule goes up. I think it was a sprint, then the little underground tunnel, and then tackle the ball and kick a goal. So first activation in the game, Mule Fuse goes up there, kicks a goal. Third activation of the game for me, Spade goes up, kicks a goal. Then then the rest of the turn, it's Morticians killing the two minors, which is I'm like, I'm fine, I don't care. I'm up 8-0, and I know I'm gonna lose turn, but I haven't even broke out Salvo and Pinvice yet. And I mean, Salvo and Pinvice we're still working their way upfield when all this is happening. So my first activation of the second turn was basically I had 6 on Pinvice, and I believe she had the ball, or she ended up with the ball. She does alternator, controller on salvo, and then legendary, and then and passes it over to salvo. The salvo does his thing, bounces forward off the legendary pass, and then that's it. Third goal, and that game was over in like not even 30 minutes. Like it was pretty horrible jank to do, but that's part of the reason. Like, man, I'm gonna take a little break from minors here, and they're gonna be fun to paint again anyway. I have I'm gonna keep a similar scheme as the one I did last time. Maybe incorporate a little more steel element into it, right? So they're gonna be similar. I was hoping that my minors team would go to somebody else local, but who knows? I mean, it's good luck to you if you're bidding on that on eBay. Uh, so just doing a little dry brush right now on the parts that are going to eventually be steel. So if you're just joining us, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting or what you should be painting. Tonight we're working on some Navigators. Do you pin the resin? I do not pin the resin models. I have pinned resin models in the past, and it's not a terrible idea, but I find a lot of times you don't have to. I might consider pinning what's her name, Fissure, because her build is kind of weird. She the two bottom halves of the tracks fit together, and then the tank part just sort of sits on top of that, which is really strange. So I might pin that, but oh, this is a little premature because I gotta actually still have to paint in the steel bits of the goal here. Doesn't this make more sense? Like this instead of just being on that generic turf thing. I think this style basing makes more sense for the Navigators, especially for the goalpost. But I gotta figure out what colors this compass is gonna be and all that stuff. For now, let's just give it a quick edge dry brush here. But yeah, it's a good question. This is one of the buoys that came with the organized play buoy ball. Pretty fun. Navigator's got some cool looking stuff, man. I don't know how much I'll like them. We'll see. Oh, hey, what's up, Cam? Where you been, man? Thanks for tuning in. What up, dude? Welcome to the feed. You came to watch. You want me to talk you back into playing Guild Ball? That's why you showed up. That's why you showed up, man. You gotta come out and play some Guild Ball with us. Yeah. And there's a lot of stuff I like about the Navigators. It's interesting because it's like my private motto for Navigators is dream it, be it, right? Because of their rerolls and like, oh, whatever you want to do, whatever's on their playbook, that's what will happen. And your goal, and I've never played Navigators, but your goal as the opponent to Navigators is to understand that. Like look at each player, look at each piece on the field, and realize that's the reality of what they are going to do on their activation. Given that they have enough influence to do it, your job is to reduce their reality or make their reality as poor as possible, right? So obviously armor, crowd outs, all of that stuff is way more important. And then just accept the fact, like, okay, if this dude's going to be rolling 4, if he's tack 4, he has a knockdown on 4. You don't have any armor. Guess what? He's going to knock you down. So what you gotta do is you gotta crowd him out. You gotta make sure he cannot get to the result he wants. You don't know, man. But I don't know about Guild Ball anymore. I've been playing Warhammer Underworld. Cool. We're still having a lot of, down here. We're still having a lot of fun playing some Guild Ball. So all good, man. That's good that I didn't even know that you were still playing mini games. That you just kind of got out of it and just playing. I figure you'd be playing Smash Brothers and then concentrating more on the doodle art and all that good stuff. And a little dry brush here on the water. But Navs they're a cool team that you just understand that they have. One thing I will say about the Navigators is they have a game plan, and it's a very easy to follow along game plan. And so you don't dishearten yourself about the rerolls. You got to get used to that. And then you just you got to boil them down to where, okay, you can re-roll it, but you're still not going to get a good result, and you can still muck up their plan. You muck up their overall plan. Underworld's compact. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I heard a lot of good stuff about Warhammer Underworlds. I promised a local here that I would give it a shot the minute they have a faction that I like the look of. Because right now I don't know. It might be just my general complaint about GW is I get that everything's grimdark, but damn, everything is grimdark. Gotta calm down, man. I just want. Can we just? This is one of the coolest things too. Is like you'll never paint a model like that for Warhammer. You'll never. There will never. One. I'm going to talk a little trash here on GW. So those of you who don't like it can tune out. You'll never have like a feminine looking model in GW, and he's not anymore. And they're just not like bright and fun looking. You just don't get that. Everything is Batman. I'm Batman. Everything is Christian Bale Batman for GW. Okay, so we're gonna have this, but then it's gonna be Christian Bale fucking Batman with skulls and spikes. And I get that that's cool, but I want to change it up every now and then, which is like a lot actually. But okay, let's get back to this dude. You'll have models that look like this in GW line, like super buff mans. You'll get a lot of super buff mans in their line, and they can be super fun to paint. Okay, so now I want to start in on some of this blue. There's going to be a lot of blue here on this, the detail there. Well, that's good that you're still you're gaming, dude. It's I did not know you were still doing playing the miniature games. Where the hell is that blue that I brought out like specifically for this? That, I made a big deal about. There it is. Andrea blue. All right. But yeah, this is, and even for Guild Ball, this is a little unusual, right? Because Guild Ball 2 is fairly grimdark. Well, not grimdark, but it's fairly dark. There are a lot of teams that are just gritty and dark and that kind of thing. But they have the aesthetics can get pretty varied. And the playstyles are really interesting. I'm just excited about the prospect of getting to reroll my dice. Like, that's a big deal for me. Can't give it up. It's part of my life. Always have that urge to paint. Yeah, makes sense. I was wondering if maybe Andrew tunes into a lot of my streams too, so maybe Andrew will pop in. That'd be cool. But yeah, right now Guild Ball's doing super well. You know, our little meta here is doing pretty well. Trying to grow it a little bit more. Maybe start throwing some bigger tournaments down here. We've got a full roster for Kingdom Con. We're gonna try to, and this year is the last Kingdom Con. It makes me sad. So no more Kingdom Con after next year, and then I think what I'm gonna do is I will probably just next year, assuming I'm still playing Guild Ball, next year I will try to just host a large annual Guild Ball tournament with a dope prize and everything like that. So, like a blue yellow aesthetic going on here. This guy has quite the hammer pants going on. I'm excited about this next wave of the new captains that came out that were revealed this week. I think my most exciting what the captain I'm most excited about is Corbelli for Masons. I was hoping that we would get like more of a ball scoring captain for Masons, and he looks like just the ticket. And he's got a really cool aesthetic, so I'm excited about him. Obviously, I will pick up what's her name, the Riveter for engineers. What's the deal with the double captain for blacksmiths? They're releasing They're releasing a master instead of releasing a captain because blacksmiths don't have set captains. They're going to release a master and probably the apprentice. I hope at the same time because they spoiled the mini art for cutlasses as well. So, you'll get what's her name, Culverin, who will be a master, and then Culverin's apprentice will be Cutlass, who was revealed during the Free Cities draft, which was a large public event from the end of last season, right? So it's a kind of a cool bonus for blacksmiths is they're gonna get, hopefully they'll get their Free Cities rookie at the same time they get their new master. So that should be kind of cool. But yeah, that's unique for blacksmiths, obviously. I was hoping alchemists would get their next captain, but we gotta wait till next month. It's okay. Still having fun playing Midas. All good. That last game, man, Thomas forced me to he forced me to play a 1-4 with Midas. That was some crazy stuff there. Like it was my fault too. Alchemists aren't bad. They're not bad. I would say they're probably right in the middle if if you believe in tiers for the guilds. Midas was in a pretty bad way at the start of season 4. Like they thought they buffed him, and it is my very strong opinion that they actually nerfed him from the end of season 3 after they nerfed him in the middle of season 3 because he was top tier at the beginning of season 3. So they nerfed him. I started playing him more after that. And then at the start of season 4, they announced the changes to Midas, and I was like, "Oh God, they nerfed him." but um, but he got a slight tweak. He's a little bit better again. I don't think he's as good to date. He's not as good as where he was at the end of season 3, but he's playable and he's still super fun. Um, as far as Smoke is concerned, Smoke is still the a very strong captain, and for the majority of Alchemist players, they're going to be playing Smoke and barely looking at Midas, right? Midas has become the sort of the B drop for that team, and he has been that since season 3, but he's still definitely that. Um, but yeah, Midas is he's still, for me, he's the most fun. Um, he's the most fun player, or the most fun captain in the game for me, just because he does weird stuff now to support his team, and it's a weird kind of it's a weird play style that I don't think people find very intuitive. Um, but my last match report, like, I get a little in depth with what he's doing on the field, uh, just so you can see. Okay, here's what like new Midas really does, and people look at him being a striker in that 4-8 kick. I don't class him as a striker these days. Not if yes, you're going to score goals with him, but he's often on my teams, he's often like the second, third, or even fourth option for the goal. He's more, yeah, like what Scott's saying. He's more of like the point guard for the team. He's more of like the setup piece. He can definitely score, um, but I don't think the right way is to play him looking for goal first. I think you look for your repositions, you play for, um, and that first turn lore is so strong because it breaks the standoff, right? And you'll see, uh, in our meta, I think, I think people are kind of used to not having to stand off, because we have a lot of players that just break standoff. We don't really, I don't know. Standoff in our meta doesn't do that well because for whatever reason um, we just include pieces that can break standoff. Whether that's through, um, uh, whatever Midnight Offering is called now, or just any sort of threat extenders. Everybody locally plays threat extenders. Right. So you're not just, so that first turn isn't just setting up. Like, first turn goals, first turn takeouts, are a lot more common now, especially in season 4. They want you to play, um, you know, more aggressive, more engaged, and so we tend to play that way. Um, I think my opponents are getting so used to, like, oh gosh, he's gonna score a goal in the first turn. Let me just make life miserable for him after. so so most of my opponents they're getting very good at killing the ball, whether that be killing the ball, um, by abandoning it on a side of the field that I can't get to, or killing the ball, um, by just keeping it out of reach, right? Just passing it to players that will continually um, push everything forward. You'll see that as well. But yeah, I think Midas does those two things very well, though. He can, the first turn lures means he can break standoffs, um, and he can he can really get, um, his teammates involved very early in the game and improve your overall influence efficiency. Like a like his first turn is pretty damn solid, right? I can I can often have a goal and a momentum lead, which is a very strong thing. But you have to play it. You have to play it super tight. Like you can do those things, but you have to be very tight with your influence, and you have to be um, very specific on how things are allocated. And so, uh, as well as having to be uh, flexible for what your opponent does on the other side of the field. Like I said, like the last game, I didn't think I didn't think Thomas was gonna try to play standoff because I don't even know that you do that with Vet Boar. Like Vet Boar, I don't even know that that's. I think the thing with Vet Boar is the first turn conundrum with Vet Boar is this idea that they want to get that charge from him in the first turn, um, but at the same time they want to set up their models. There's some schools of thought that say go ahead and legendary first turn and use enough extenders to get and Shank and maybe another player in and just start wrecking shop. Um, yeah, Vbor is not the issue. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, dude. If you want to play Masons, man, if you want to play for sure, I'm always down for a game. Um, Masons are in an interesting spot right now because they did not see um, very many changes at all, which is an okay place to be. But I think what's happening with Masons is because they're not the ooh shiny that everything else appears to be, that their win percentages are low because people just aren't, the people that are playing Masons are often, new players coming in, and there's not a heavy representation of them in the top tier. But I think Corbelli, the new Masons captain, is going to be extremely exciting. Uh, I'm pretty stoked on that. Uh, so we'll see how that goes. A ball scoring option for Masons, and how are they going to make Masons like a heavy ball team? Obviously, you're going to want to play Flint, probably Mallet for Football Legend. But what is Corbelli going to do? Is he going to turn people into like super snapshot turrets? Is he going to allow um, out of activation passing, which is super powerful? I don't know. I think it's gonna be fun though. But yeah. But back to Vbor for a second. It's Yes, Vbor is gonna kill every single in contact with. But on the other side of the field, Vbor has some glaring issues, man. Vbor is very susceptible to control guilds. He can he's pretty exploitable. He's 24 health, but he's 3-1, right? I play OCAT all the time. OCAT's the same thing, 3-1, 24 health. People melt through OCAT like butter. So that's not. And I've killed Vbor, I think, in every single game I've played against him. Granted, Thomas is a new player, so I don't know how valid my experiences are with Vbor. And also, Thomas doesn't field Cinnamon. So that's a totally unique other set of complications here. But I agree that Vbor doesn't present as many technical challenges as miners do. Because I like to say miners are just like a floating prison, man. Like the way they attack players and actually I have another match report I played it against Sean's Navigators recently. Very long game, super long game. But I was able to condense it down. Um, and essentially, I play the miners like a floating prison because you're playing against a 3-0 team, and you're kind of a 3-0 team, but the miners have the ability to really lock down strikers. I think this tabard should be blue also. Yeah. He's a 9-inch threat killing machine. With the cooks, he'll get better. You can really ruin his game with control. Yeah. I think Morticians are a terrible matchup for Vet Boar. I think that's where you break out Ox. And sadly, I think Fillet is the captain that suffers from Vet Boar because the Fillet game is not as efficient as running Ox and Vet Boar as your captain picks. I think the main downside to Vet Boar is it's just very easy to screw up his activation. You got to decide, like, you're gonna ideally, yeah, you want Vet Boar to go in and delete something, but you also need Vet Boar to be available for your other players to get that influence efficiency. And so if you run Vet Boar wrong, if you get too greedy, you charge stuff you shouldn't be charging, you're out of position, then yeah, you're gonna suffer for it. Oh, good night. See you, dude. Yeah, message me, man. Let me know when you want to play a game. Totally down for that. If you think you're running butchers, you drop B board and run. Really interesting. Interesting. I don't know. I'm gonna have to try to play Vet Boar myself and see that's gonna be odd. Uh, and see what I would do with Vet Boar. I would probably make all the mistakes I'm describing right now. Right? Get too greedy with him, get him out of position. But see, that's the thing too. The opposing player can almost kind of goad Vet Boar into taking a poor charge at the prospect of deleting a player. And then just basically reposition or get Vet Boar out of the main play so that the other players on Vet Boar's team they're not benefiting from him. I don't know. I also think that it's not going to be very often that you want 2 influence on Vet Boar. I think if you're running him right, you should put 1 influence on him. And so that way, if they take your charge away, yeah, you get a couple of attacks out of it, but you probably have your efficiency on somewhere else on the team. Because I take Vet Boar's, I try to take his charge away as often as possible. So I think Vet Boar players kind of have to, with no really good counters to that, I think they have to figure out um, how they're gonna just operate Vet Boar without being able to use his charge very often. And I think the best way to do that, give him 1, let him do 2 attacks, set a model up with singled out stagger, or you have him as the finisher. You finish off a model with him, again with only 1 on him, and then you take your free charge on another model and set up another model. But in either scenario, I don't think I think the trap with Vet Boar is you don't want to charge a model and then with with 2 on you and then kill that model. You want to do that unless it's your last takeout or unless it's first turn and you're just gonna have something ready immediately to do in the following turn. But I could be dead wrong. Okay. Man. Well, I think everybody took off. I think so. I'll just paint for a little bit. And I'm bouncing around a lot on these pieces. Let's paint some lenses in. There we go. And then this right here should be blue. He looks this guy looks like an old school raver in this outfit. He's not gonna have much blue and yellow on him. He just doesn't look right that way. Let's get some blue on Windfinder here. Okay. Just that cool sextant right there too. What else is gonna be blue on her? She has a shirt. She has like an undershirt there. Maybe this vest is blue. And so we'll just do like blue straps here. She sort of wears these baggy trousers, same way I wear my sweatpants. Always have the one leg kind of scrunched up above the calf there. And yeah, I think what we do is this. This part of the vest becomes blue. And she has like an undershirt, which will be white. I'm just like trying to figure out what else is blue on her. Should she have more blue on her? She should have more blue on her. Let's make like this sleeve right here blue. You think maybe the headband should be blue too? Maybe. I think it should. Oh, cool. It just kind of make the face pop a little bit more, I guess. It's a cool blue. I'm gonna have to paint that gold. All right. So now Mr. Ebb. He does not need a lot of blue on him. He's not gonna have very much blue on him. Okay. Let's go ahead and do this dude. There's this weird like fishing pants thing. What the hell? I think that's right. Okay. That's pretty good. I think everybody has the blue on them that they're supposed to. Let's get a scrunchie up here. Okay. Whoa. We have fallen to 0 viewers. Dun 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 dun. Wow. Okay. Yeah, let's use a little more blue in this detail here. Okay, there we go. All right. Now let's do a little bit of gold. He's gonna have this like gold locket around his neck. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Let's go ahead and let's drop some armor wash on the netting kind of stuff. Also, I'm not sure if I'm gonna do. I may do some. I may do some tattoo work on him or some war paint. War paint would be kind of cool. So when I'm tattoos for me, that's just code for me saying tattoos are tend to be like a charcoal color, and war paint's more of a white color. But let's start with boop, 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 boop. I know a lot of people do this trident like gold, but we're just gonna go steel here. Get that detail in. Pretty cool. While we're at it, let's just do kind of funny that this character is almost done unintentionally. All right, and some other pieces here that need this treatment. Notably the buoy ball, the buoy. That's pretty cool. Yeah, let's just go ahead and wash it. And then we'll paint it. We'll paint the compass colors in as we need them. So we're just using armor wash to get all this in. Looking pretty good. You can see it getting more of that armor wash gives it more of a steel appearance. Armor wash is just great. It's like miracle stuff, man. I think more people should be raving about P3 armor wash than Nuln oil or whatever the GW thing is. All right. Okay. And here's a piece of terrain, so let's go ahead and just wash this. Since I got the wash out, let's do all the wash stuff right now. And the sextant and the compass. Armor wash is like the miracle juice, man. It makes it all happen. Okay. And the funny thing about armor wash, I've never tried this before, but I think I can use armor wash as like for like tattoos. Let's try it. Let's try a little bit of armor wash, and let's mix it with some matte medium. Right? I don't even know what this is gonna do, but hell, who cares? Let's try it. Where's my matte medium? I've got matte medium. Here we go. Mix it with a little matte medium. So what that's going to do, it'll slightly thicken it up. And it's going to give it more of a gray tone, but it's also going to be somewhat translucent. Let's just see what it looks like. We're going to go with like a, Simone style sleeve. So you think azimuth is too dark to do something like this on? So I think ebb is perfect for it, right? Ebb, who is Mark's husbando. Kind of interesting looking tattoo. Huh, not bad. I'm sure a painter with better freehand skills than me could probably turn that into something cool. I'm just going to turn it into kind of a generic looking sleeve. That's kind of cool. kind of cool. Okay. So Eb has that. I think Eb should. I'm gonna give Eb dark hair. Well, maybe dark brown hair. I think he should. Well, yeah, let's give him dark brown hair. I think an Eb is pretty dope. Now, I could go lighter on. I could go lighter on Azimut's skin, so that he can have similar tattoos like that. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Kind of dope already. Let's try that. Let's mix a little matte medium in with the white. What do I do with my matte medium? Did I dump it already? So mix a little white with some matte medium. Well, this is interesting. Sorry, and I'm shaking that. I knocked the camera around a little bit there. Right. So it's know how I feel about that. It messed up a little bit. It's not too bad though. Let's feather it out a little bit. I don't know, dude. I just don't know if that's okay or not. Maybe it needs a little bit of work. Probably needs a little bit of work. It's just a little bit of cleanup. Not much. Right? Just kind of make those. Those a little less conspicuous there. There. I just want them to look a little bit more like teeth. There we go. So you really want the sharp point on that. The problem is they're drawing it down and it's not as sharp as it should be. Whoa. A little too watery. I don't know if I like this tattoo. It's interesting. It's an interesting tattoo. Or war paint, I should say. Yeah, it's definitely more war paint. I don't know. I think it doesn't do anything great there. Yeah, I'm not really liking that. Let's just cover it up. Maybe I like it. Just cover it up. Might look a little bit odd at first. And that brown's not covering very well. No, it didn't cover it at all, really. Try it out again. There we go. I need to highlight it up a little bit after that. I mean, that tattoo looks okay. Speaking of which, let's do the boots. Yeah, it's getting pretty late. So I may be calling it pretty soon here, folks. We're making pretty good progress on these. I'm fairly happy. I think let's go ahead and do just all the little detail on the belt, on the belts and stuff always drive me crazy. These pieces, they need to calm down with the belts. It's too many damn belts. How many freaking belts you need to be wearing, guys? That's so gray. Man, there's just too much stuff going on here. Yeah, like I was saying before, I think the model closest to being done is Moana. This dude has a knife there. Anybody else have a knife or a blade? Well, this guy's got his hooks. I need to paint. Anything else? Got chain back here. Just too much, people. Just need to calm down. She has an entire sextant. Little spyglass. And these things have. So this set's going to take me a little bit longer than I thought it would, just because there's a lot. There's so many like little details that I did not. And I kind of overestimated my ability to finish quickly. Tons of them. Tons and tons of them. Look at all the gold coins on this thing. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna need another night to paint. Maybe even 2 nights, just based on all the tiny little details we've got to deal with. Still, super fun guild to paint. Just wish we didn't have so much silliness. That's a little silly. Nobody needs all this. That's not it. Okay, I think that's about all I can do for tonight. Yeah, that's about all I can do for one night. So the closest being done is this guy. Closest to being done. We'll take another crack at it in the morning. Try to finish some more of them, but I think that's what we got for tonight. So with that, that's gonna do it for this stream. I want to thank everyone for watching. Have a good night, guys, and yeah, stay tuned for more Guild Ball and other content. Whoa.